Well, I really like how our team is fighting right now, just continuing to get better through some tough learning opportunities that we've had this past week. Road trips in our conference, they're always challenging, and there were times where we did some things really, really well, and then there were times where we didn't sustain what was needed in some of those moments to come out with the result that we wanted on the other side of that. You know, adversity, it always exposes you, but it also teaches you. And there's a lot of learning opportunities for our team this past week. This team is resilient. This team is connected. This team is continuing to work really hard and fight and grow and be able to take advantage of everything that's right there in front of them.
Just down the stretch of the season, what are you guys kind of emphasizing the most?
Yeah, consistency. That's one of the biggest things for us, is being able to be consistency in some of those areas that we need to be really disciplined in on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive side of the ball. We've got to be able to rebound at a really high level, and we've got to value possessions and be able to take care of the ball. And those are two things that I think we can do really, really well. So we've just got to be a little bit more consistent in those areas.
Another big opportunity here at home, playing UAB. What are you expecting from them, and what are you kind of telling the team?
Yeah, well, UAB is a really good team, and they're really well coached. And when you look at the conference and you look at the standings, there's a number of teams that are just kind of clustered right there together. And so every single game matters. And, you know, for us, it's a lot about how we're going to respond to this past game and this past week for us. I like how our team is responding. I like how they're coming back hungry and they're fighting. And so I think our preparation this week has to be really good, and I think they're going to rise up to that challenge.
Coach, you're averaging 69, and yet these last three games well below that. 60, I think, was your high in those three games. Anything that you can kind of thumbnail as to why you're not as efficient offensively?
A couple things, right? Like, we had too many turnovers, especially in that FAU game, than what we would like. Our turnover number was way too high. I think we had 23, and we need that to be a little bit lower to have a few more of those offensive possessions back. And then the other part of that is our field goal percentage has to be able to get a little bit better. We talk about having focused finishes around the rim quite a bit, and I think we're capable of doing that. And so excited for our team's growth from this past week and kind of where we're going to be able to do those two things offensively a little bit better.
Is this typical, though, when you start playing teams for a second time? Florida Atlantic, an example of that kind of becomes more of a grinder the second time around because there's some familiarity?
Sometimes, you know, there's adjustments that both coaches make going into those games to be able to, you know, try to win the game. I think at times we've had some of our key players, like Hannah Riddick is playing really, really well, and Maddie Cartwright, and then you look at what Jade Clack is doing. You look at those three that just has a lot of focus from the other team and their defense, and we've got to be able to kind of counter that just a little bit better.
Okay, so you got kind of the big three you just mentioned. Who's got to step forward now?
You know, we've had some great minutes from, even in this last game, you look at Sham Duncan, who came in, and she gave us some great minutes. The game before at South Florida, you saw Haven Fisher come in and give us really good minutes off the bench. I still think Layla Cameron is coming in and giving us some really productive minutes off the bench, too. And so sometimes it's not necessarily going to be one specific person. It's going to be a collective number of people. And that's one thing I like a lot about our team. I like our balance. I like the depth that we have. And we've got, you know, a lot of young players right now that are getting a lot of really good experience that I think is going to pay off for us.